There is a box in every crafter's home that is filled with old, unfinished projects and stuff you thrifted in the hopes of upcycling. That becomes abandoned. That becomes forgotten. Well, this is the series that tackles that forgotten box. This is the Style Pile. This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Whether you need a domain, a website, or an online store, make your next move with Squarespace. Hello, welcome to the Style Pile, episode number 50. So this episode begins with a little bit of a story to explain how I came to inherit literally hundreds of pairs of awesome tights. About 3 years ago, I found out that my uncle used to run a business that manufactured tights and sold them to department stores in Australia and in Japan. And this was about 15 years ago now, so the business doesn't exist anymore. Anyway, there was still a fair amount of stock left over that had been sitting around in the basement of his old house for about a decade, and he didn't really know what to do with them all. But then he found out that I was into fashion and had a fashion blog, and he asked if I wanted to have a look at them and maybe take some and even try to sell some and make some of those cash dollars. Well, obviously I said yes. I was super into wearing patent tights in 2014, and this was just like some sort of amazing dream come true for me. Little did I know, however, this leftover stock would be literally hundreds of pairs of tights. And because he was doing such a nice thing for me, I felt kind of obligated to take all of them. So anyway, 3 years later, after taking a few pairs that I wanted for myself and also giving many away to family and friends, and then also after discovering that I'm really bad and impatient at selling things, well, I still have all of these tights. And this here is only about 1/3 of the entire inherited collection. There are a couple more suitcases full of tights in storage right now. It's far too many tights for one human being to deal with. Right now I'm also just not that into wearing full-length patent tights, partly for fashion reasons, but also because I don't really like wearing things that compress and make my stomach uncomfortable. So I wanted to see if I could upcycle some of them into different fashion items because I really love the patterns on a lot of the tights. Yep, so the intro of this video was a little deceptive. My Style Pile box is much more than one box. It is this one box, yes, but it's then also another box here and several suitcases full of tights as well. Oh boy. So over the years, I've seen a lot of YouTube tutorials showing you how to turn your tights into crop tops. And I've always been a little bit skeptical of these tutorials because, well, firstly, they're always done by very skinny human beings. And secondly, I don't think they ever looked that comfortable. So first, I wanted to see if this tutorial would work for someone with just a little bit of fat on their body. Somebody who wasn't a size 0, i.e. me. And for reference, I'm an Australian size 12 to 14, which I think is the US 8 to 10. Anyway, here's how that went down. So I busted a fresh pair of tights open, lay them out flat, and then I was basically just going to snip the crotch out in a triangle sort of shape like this. First, I folded the tights in half lengthways so that the cutout would be symmetrical, and I also cut the toes off so that I could put my arms through these new leg sleeves, because the legs are now sleeves. You'll see what I mean. And this is my first time trying it on. So this is a baby's top. Let's see if I can get it on. Ow! Oh, it's not comfortable. The sleeve's alright. Oh look, there's ladders in it already. There's ladders. Cool. Well, where did my boobs go? This has completely squashed my boobs out of existence. And it's tight in all of the wrong places. Oh, there goes another ladder down the back. Okay, so yeah, the ladders probably could have been avoided if I'd used like a pair of leggings or something thicker. But if you've got any chub or boobage, not really gonna happen. It's just very, 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 very uncomfortable. If you like tops that are extremely restrictive across your chest, then go for it. Now, to be fair, you might be like, Annika, you did it wrong. You just need to use a bigger pair of tights and then it'll fit. So this pair came from a size large. It also has a less visible seam down the middle, and I also tried wearing it with a super padded bra to try and avoid pancake boobs. I'm really trying hard to make this work. And it doesn't look that bad, but I also can't really breathe, and I'm super heckin' uncomfortable. Hey Litchi.
Yes?
Come give me your honest opinions on this top I just made.
It looks like a really
What do you think about the fit?
I just think it's... I don't know what to say. What do you think about it?
It's really tight, I can hardly breathe.
You're constantly adjusting it. It looks like a little bit of like a pressure applied to it and the whole thing would just whoop, spring right off.
That's what it feels like.
Like you'd be out in public and it'd just be like doink and it would just fly away in the wind.
Like an elastic band.
Yep.
Oh, I need to take it off now. Oh. So yeah, the next thing I wanted to try was turning the tights into socks. And even though I'm not super into pattern tights at the moment, I am very much liking knee-high and thigh-high socks right now. I also wanted to do this because I found out after I got the tights that a lot of them are child size, not Annika size. But also the child size tights are really cute and have cute patterns on them and I want to be able to do something with them. So with that long preamble over, this is how I turned some of these tights into socks. Tutorial time. So as you can see, these child size tights do fit around my legs, but they are not nearly long enough for me. So I'm going to turn them into knee-high socks instead. So I snipped the waist and the gusset part off, leaving me with 2 little sockies. And that's it. Nah, I'm kidding. What kind of tutorial would that be? Now the problem with just snipping them like this and leaving it there is that the socks will constantly fall down. They're not tied enough around the top, so what I need to do is add elastic around the top of the socks. So I put one of the socks on to see where it went up to on my leg, and then I grabbed a 1-inch wide piece of elastic and I wrapped it around this part of my leg. Then I pulled the elastic a little bit tight, not so tight that it was uncomfortable, but just so that it fits snugly, and then I cut the elastic to this length. And using this piece, I cut another piece of elastic that's identical in length because I'm making 2 socks. For both pieces of elastic, I folded them into a loop like this, and next I'm going to sew a zigzag stitch over the elastic ends, connecting the loop up permanently. And I went back and forth with my zigzag a couple of times to make sure that the ends were connected super strongly. Then I turned one sock inside out, except when I did this, I was like, oh my gosh, the rainbow on the inside of the sock is this really nice pastel color, and I like it even better than the brighter, more vibrant rainbow on the right side of the socks. So I then decided to make the inside pattern of the socks the new outside pattern, so that I would have pastel rainbow socks when I'm finished instead. So this is a little bit confusing, but this pastel colored inside is the new outside, the new right side of the socks, and the vibrant side is the new inside, the new wrong side of the socks. So with the socks inside out, and this is the new inside out, I popped the circular piece of elastic over the top, and I'm going to sew the elastic on all the way around the outside with a zigzag stitch like this. Sewing around the top of the sock, doop 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 doop. While sewing, I stretched the sock and the elastic so that they would become the same length and match up all the way around the top of the sock. Now, if you're not confident with sewing stretchy materials and just eyeballing this, then you can use the pinning and quartering method to do this, and I'll pop a link of an example for that in the description. To finish it off and make it look nice, I flipped the elastic down one more time like this. And next, I'm going to sew a zigzag stitch across here. However, I found it easier to sew this part if I turned the sock the right way around first and then sew over the top of the elastic just by feel. Sewing all around the top of the sock, doop 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 doop. And now these socks are done. I also wanted to salvage the not so successful crop tops from before into thigh-high socks, which I did basically by using the same method I just went over, but before I did that, I had to make new feet for the socks because I cut them off before to make sleeves, and I did this by turning them inside out and sewing a new foot part like this, then cutting off the excess fabric from the seam. So how did they turn out? And now it's time for a mini lookbook showing you how I styled these knee-high and thigh-high socks. I'm not really sure what this video is anymore. It's turned into part vlog, part fail, part tutorial, and part lookbook, but I hope you're enjoying it nonetheless. For these pink checkered thigh-high socks, I styled them with a pink top and a pinafore dress. I then wore an oversized denim jacket over the top of this. Oh, and everything else that I'm wearing here is thrifted, of course, so don't ask me where these pieces are from, because I'll be like, they're secondhand. Maybe go visit your local thrift store to try and find something similar. For the rainbow socks, I basically wanted to turn myself into a walking human rainbow, so I paired it with this multicolored, very bright windbreaker that I recently got from Depop, and some brightly colored shoes. I stuck to lighter, more muted colors for my top and my shorts, so that the socks and the jacket would remain the eye-catching pieces of this outfit. And I wouldn't totally overdo it with all the colors because these are pretty strong statement pieces on their own. Now, as you probably noticed in my previous outfits, I like to match the color of my socks to the color of my top. Then, if I wear something that's got a pattern all over it, like this polka dot romper, I think that the matching color of the top and the sock pulls the outfit together really nicely. Generally, when choosing a pair of socks, I try and pair them to another color that's already in my outfit. And finally, these floral socks were also a child-sized pair of tights that I wanted to upcycle into knee-high socks because daisies. Daisies are cute. I paired them with this cute corduroy dress layered over a white top and a beret because berets are also cute. Alright, so that's one way to upcycle tights, and I really like how it turned out. Obviously, most of you won't have inherited 3 suitcases full of tights, but it's also a really good way to upcycle old tights that have a small ladder or some holes or some wear, or if you find tights too uncomfortable around your tummy like I do. So I hope that some of you found this helpful. And as for the remainder of these tights, well, I will keep some for myself. Gonna turn more into socks. Gonna give some more to friends. But I think most of them are probably gonna make their way to charity stores. But if you guys have any other ideas of how to upcycle tights that isn't a totally impractical and uncomfortable crop top, I'd love to hear them. So this video is supported by Squarespace. And stick around, beginning sewers and DIYers, because there is some info in here that's definitely relevant to you as well. So I've been using Squarespace for more than a year now, and I'm already a huge fan of the services they provide. So let me tell you all a little bit more about Squarespace and how I've used them in the past. If you have any creative projects on the go, have a message to share, or you need your own website for any reason, then check Squarespace out. I made my own website with Squarespace over a year ago now, and it's really useful because it serves as the landing page for who I am, what I do, the projects I work on, my past projects, how to get in contact with me, how to get involved in the little DIY communities I have running. And beginning sewers, this is what you should be checking out. This entire beginner sewing resource is a huge part of my website. This page draws on the knowledge of all of my favorite DIYers from all over the internet, and also contains all of my beginner-friendly tutorials as well. Now, if you're new to the world of sewing, you definitely need to check this out. Anyway, I made all of this with Squarespace, and Squarespace is so easy to use. It's an all-in-one platform that includes a whole library of beautiful award-winning templates, 24/7 customer service, and they also offer you a unique domain name. For example, my one is annikavictoria.com. The templates and designs are also super flexible, so you can use them for really any kind of purpose. If you're an artist, a designer, a musician, you own a restaurant, etc., then you'll find the template that will work for you. You can start your free trial today with Squarespace. And if you go to squarespace.com/Annika and then you use the code Annika, you will get 10% off your first purchase. Thank you so much, Squarespace, for sponsoring this video, and for you guys for supporting the companies that support this channel. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye! Thank you to all of my supporters on Patreon who, along with the sponsor of this episode, also help to keep this channel going. To become my supporter, go to patreon.com/Annika Victoria.